Hey, what's going on guys, Migzube here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a Rakdos Treasures deck for Standard 2022. So the Rakdos Treasures archetype has been basically supported in the new D&D set, so we're going to get into the deck and cover the brand new cards. We have Devour Intellect as a 1-mana sorcery and target opponent discards a card, but if mana from a treasure was spent to cast this spell, instead that player reveals their hand, you choose a non-land card from it, and then that player discards that card. So basically, as long as you've cast this spell with treasures, it's a Thoughtseize minus the life loss, and it acts as an excellent payoff for running the treasure deck. We have the Forsworn Paladin, 1 black mana, 1/1 menace. For 1 and a black, you can tap it, pay a life, and create a treasure token. So basically, it's a very cheap enabler, and you sort of have this other mana sink ability that ends up being really relevant because we do generate a ton of treasures, and especially with a Goldspan Dragon out, the treasures give you a ton of mana. So for 3 mana, 2 and a black, you get to target a creature. It gets +2/+0 until end of turn, but if you used mana from a treasure, you get to give that creature Death Touch as well. Basically, the fact that this is open-ended and doesn't only target itself, but any creature, makes it very flexible, and in the late game, as long as we have one of these, we can just pump a ton of mana into it and start beefing up our team. So I'm a big fan of the Paladin, enabler in the early game and payoff in the late game. We have the Ghast, 1 mana, 1/1. When it dies, you either get to make a treasure or have target creature and opponent controls get -1/-1. So this card combos really well with Deadly Dispute. You get to sacrifice it, ideally take out an opponent's creature with 1 toughness, and you get to draw 2 cards, create a treasure, or if you want, you can also just sack the Ghast, make a treasure. If the opponent doesn't have a creature, you get to draw 2 cards and make a treasure. So yeah, this is another kind of enabler. It helps you get through the deck. You can either sacrifice an artifact, which is a treasure, or a creature, which can be like the Ghast. You don't really want to sacrifice anything else. It's more here to just eat treasures that are left over to draw 2 and replace itself with another treasure. It's basically 2 mana draw 2 that has some sacrifice synergy with the Ghast. So I've liked this card. It's not crazy, but it's been good whenever I pick it up or whenever I draw it. Power Word Kill, just a 2-mana removal spell in the format. Again, like I said in my Dimir Control video, there's a ton of dragons, and I've noticed there's also a fair amount of demons. I faced a couple Rakdos mirror matches, forgot this card was a demon. You cannot kill it with Power Word Kill. I feel like the longer the format, well, the longer we play the format, the more used to this card we're going to get. At least for me, I'm having a hard time recognizing the creatures I can kill just because I don't know all of their subtypes, and I'm not usually used to looking at stuff like that. We have Valky as a top end in the treasure deck. Basically, since we make so much mana, we can usually cast this as a planeswalker, so we're going to put that in the higher end of the deck. And if not, worst case, it's a 2-drop that can, steal something of the opponent's, maybe transform. Pretty good card. Magda as, again, an enabler and a payoff. The Dwarf Lord ability isn't very relevant. I don't think we have any other dwarfs. Just the Magdas. Whenever it attacks, you guys know this, you make a treasure, and then you can eventually sack 5 treasures to search for a artifact or a dragon, put it on the battlefield. Not a new card, but a very relevant card in the deck. Maybe even run more Magdas. It's kind of slow and it gets removed a lot, but it's a must-answer threat, and it also generates a ton of treasures. We have 2 dragons to fetch. We have either Goldspan Dragon or the Ebon Death Draco Lich. So you can pick and choose, but most of the time you're going to fetch Goldspan Dragon if you ever actually get to sacrifice the treasures. Back to new cards, we have Kalane, Reclusive Painter, a Rakdos 1/2. When it ETBs, you make a treasure token, and other creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on them for each mana from a treasure spent to cast them. So again, a treasure enabler by giving you the treasure, and a payoff by buffing all your creatures that you cast via treasure tokens. I've honestly found this card a lot more useful just on 2 to curve you into like a turn 3 4-drop. We have Soul Shatter, again, not new, but very, very important removal. The more I play the format, the more I like Soul Shatter. There's the Imrith dragon in Is It Dragons and Dimir Control, and I think there's a Jeskai Dragons deck running around. Basically, it has Ward 4, meaning you can't exactly target it very easily, and it's immune to this card, which is your other really good 2-mana removal spell. Also, there's Goldspan Dragon, which is also immune to this card that you don't necessarily want to target. So I think the more I play the format, the more I really like Soul Shatter. So we're running 4 copies of it. Also, there's no great black or red 3-drop that I'm like super happy to play. And I'm trying to just, curve into my top end, and we make a ton of treasures, so we don't exactly need to play on curve. But for if ever you need a 3-mana spell, Soul Shatter is here, and it's a good kind of curve filler and interactive spell. Draco Lich. Now this card is really solid. I've played it quite a bit. Basically, 4 mana 5/2 flash flying, ETB's tapped, and you can cast it from your yard if a creature not named itself died this turn. Basically, just a recurring threat. We have a ton of creatures, combo as well with the Deadly Dispute. It's a dragon, you can play at flash speed, threaten to pump your stuff, threaten to play Soul Shatter, maybe dissolve something with the cube. I don't know, I'm just a big fan of this card, and it's been putting in work in this Rakdos mid-range deck as well. Same for the Gelatinous Cube. I think I prefer this card more in mono black. The more I play the deck, the less I like it. It's still solid. It's a 4 mana 4/3. You get to basically put a creature under it, and then you can pay X and a black, or X being that creature's mana cost, to exile the creature under it. So kind of like a Skyclave Apparition. Other people in my comments have compared it to a Ravenous Chupacabra. I mean, it doesn't actually take the creature out, it just puts it underneath it, kind of like Skyclave Apparition does. And Chupacabra, once you killed it, the opponent didn't get anything. If they kill the cube, they get the creature back. So that's why it reminds me more of Skyclave Apparition. We have the Orcus. So this card's interesting. I think I'm going to bring it up to 3 copies. X and Rakdos. Flying Trample 5/3. So already a 4 mana 5/3 Flying Trample is a great stat line. Then when it ETBs, you choose 1. Each other creature gets -X until end of turn. You lose X life. Keep in mind that's on your side of the field as well. So just be cognizant of that. Or return up to X target creatures with total mana value X or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. They gain haste until end of turn. So this thing is a massive payoff for generating a ton of mana with your treasures, and pairs great with a Goldspan Dragon, along with a bunch of cheap creatures from the early game. So I don't know, Auric is a really good card as a treasure payoff. It's also just solid on turn 4 if you need a creature, and it can clock your opponent 4 times and end the game. So I think it's a really solid card in the deck. We have Goldspan Dragon. I mean, the deck functions at its best when you have Goldspan Dragon. Again, not a new card, but all your treasures generating double mana is just so powerful. You guys know Goldspan Dragon. It's just even better in this deck. Mana base is weird. I wish we had more dual lands, but we just make do with what we have, the pathways. There's not much red, so we have a basically massive lean towards black. And don't worry too much about your colors. You generate a ton of treasures which can tap for any color of mana. So even if you don't have red in the first couple turns, it's not the end of the world. You'll probably make it with Ghast or Paladin, or even like Deadly Dispute. So I wouldn't stress too much about the mana base, and it's fine. These can be red, these can be red. We have a ton of black. Hive and Den acting as our man lands. The more I play Hive, the more I like it. Menace being super relevant, especially in this deck that kind of like wins by narrow margins. So 22 lands, 2 DFC lands, so 24 total, 1 of each. You can reanimate big things. I actually didn't cast this today, but I cast this like twice. I prefer Shadow Skull Smashing anyways, but we do want more black. And again, yeah, 1 Den and 3 man lands. So I think that's a pretty good split. You can try to fit in another Den if you want. I just don't think we really need to. I don't want to risk more tap lands. So anyways, guys, if you like the deck, be sure to drop a like on the video. It will be in the description down below as always, and consider subscribing. It motivates me to make more content. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Sorry about the little bit more detailed explanation. I want to really explain my card choices for the deck because I've seen a ton of them running around. And let's get into some games. Okay, let's go. Hand is good. We have turn 1 Paladin, turn 2 Thoughtseize, which is sweet. Nice. Turn 3 Soul Shatter, maybe ramp into a Goldspan Dragon somehow. Okay, against Orzhov. Great. Hound, do nothing. We can actually go for the Reclusive Painter into a Thoughtseize, or we can just pay the 2 mana on the Paladin. I think we go for the Painter. ETBs make a treasure, and we hit the opponent with a turn 2 Thoughtseize. Pay with treasure. Alright, what are we taking out? I could take out a land, which is pretty sweet. and then the opponent would need to draw one to be able to use any of these cards. I think that's pretty good. Thoughtseize your land. Get in with the menace damage. The fact that this can generate treasures is pretty huge, but the fact that we can't actually attack with it if it generates treasures is unfortunate. Vigilance and menace would have been so sweet on this card. Okay, student cost on Killian. Is it Killian? Kalain, my bad. Okay, so what's the play here? I could Thoughtseize away one of these creatures, but Thoughtseizing away the Draco Lich doesn't do much. I think we just play land and then use the Soul Shatter. Get in for one, because I'm probably going to end up using a removal spell anyways. And the opponent needs land 4 to be able to actually play their spell. Do I Soul Shatter here? I think so. Hound gone. So what is this? Orzhov midrange, and the opponent misses land 4. Perfect. So put this on red. We want double red for the dragon. I guess I attack and flash in Draco Lich, or hold open Soul Shatter plus Devour Intellect. Slowly just chip away at the opponent with our 1-drop. Nice mana sync ability. Okay, Elite Spellbinder. Do I let that resolve, or do I just play the Draco Lich now? I think we play the Draco Lich. If the opponent wants to tax my Goldspan Dragon, so be it. And if they want to tax Soul Shatter and I draw land, then I can just, you know, Soul Shatter the Spellbinder. Yep, and if I draw land, I get to play Goldspan Dragon. But if I play Goldspan Dragon, this trades with the Spellbinder, and it's not amazing. But we start generating more treasures, and I can Thoughtseize away their cube. Okay, seems good. Goldspan Dragon, attack all. I could have also held back the Draco Lich, but we're generating a ton of mana right now. So I think it's worth just burning a treasure on this Thoughtseize, because every attack with the Goldspan Dragon is going to be an extra treasure. Anything we generate is going to be even more, or any treasure we generate is going to be double mana. We can get rid of the cube, and the opponent will have a tapped creature. This doesn't even take out Goldspan Dragon or the Ebon Death. So I think that's it for the opponent. Thoughtseize taking a land is freaking huge. Alright, Spellbinder, do nothing. So how do we want to play it? I guess we just attack. We'll see if the opponent wants to block or not. Should I have played this land pre-combat? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, maybe. Okay, the opponent blocks the Goldspan Dragon. If I pump 3 mana here, let's say I pump 1, 2, 3, then I can still reanimate Ebon Death. So I think that's worth it. We just pump the Paladin. And a creature died this turn, so we can go recast Ebon Death from the yard. And I'll play my land, why not? More mana for the Paladin in the future. And I think that's just game. Opponent's dead in many ways. They have 3 lands. They can't cast either of these spells, and they can Doomblade the Paladin. Vanishing Verse, okay, fair enough. So 5, yeah, and they're just dead to the pump ability on the Paladin, I think, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's another. Hold on. Let me just make sure. So 5, this is 3 and 3, making it 5 and 5. Yeah, the opponent's dead. Sweet game. Thoughtseize putting in work. Okay, let's go. Nice little 1, 2, 3. A ton of treasure generation in the form of Magda and paying life for the paladin. So the dream of maybe getting to fetch a dragon is definitely alive at the moment. Gonna start off on the paladin. Say go from there. And shock or frostbite. Sorry about my voice. Probably just frostbite. I mean, I guess I attack. I can play Magda, it will get frostbitten, so does that mean it's worth holding? I don't think so, because we still get to keep the paladin. Yep, and frostbite on the Magda, but we knew that was coming. And there's land 3, sweet, so we can use Soul Shatter in the future. Holding it open right now. The opponent plays Expressive Iteration, okay. I cannot generate the treasure because the paladin is tapped. Unfortunate. Okay, smashing. Opponent finds their land, and they don't pay for it. It's fine. Gassed. I think I just put this on red to get double red online in case we draw a Goldspan Dragon. Attack with the paladin, say go. We can flash in Draco Lich. Opponent foretells. Hopefully that's their counterspell. Anything? I mean, ETB's tapped, but still hits the board. And we're gonna get in there again. Okay, sweet. I think I just go play the Ghast and then hold open Soul Shatter. I could also play the Painter and then hold open Soul Shatter. Alright, I think that's fine. The opponent might not even give us something to Soul Shatter, and I think using our mana this way is just more efficient. We also get the Painter down. Okay, sweet. We get something to Soul Shatter. We have to use the treasure, but it's fine. Yep, Soul Shatter, clean answer to Goldspan Dragon. So, land. This costs 3 mana, so I can just play this and hold open Soul Shatter. We attack with everything. I could not have killed the opponent. I could have put them to 2. So we play the Ghast and pass the turn. If we had 1 extra mana, I could have killed the opponent, but it's alright. I wonder if they run the Draconic Intervention to sweep my board. Would that even sweep my board? Yes, it would. Goldspan Dragon again. And that's why we run Soul Shatters. The card is just so good in the format. And that's game. I also could have just used Thoughtseize on their hand by generating a treasure with the Paladin. Sweet game. Soul Shatter putting in a lot of work. Okay, I mean, let's go. Hand isn't amazing, but it's fine. We have a nice 1-2, kind of 3. Play the Ghast on 1. This land will come in untapped on 2. And hopefully treasures help us get there. Like, if we miss some lands, at least we have a ton of treasure generation. Okay, we find land. Gonna play the Den. And then we can attack if the opponent doesn't block. Then we can Deadly Dispute, take this thing out, and make a treasure and draw 2. Doesn't seem bad. Okay. Sacrifice the Ghast. Target creature gets -1/-1. We make a treasure and draw 2, and we even draw the Thoughtseize. Let's go. Let's see if you have any 3-drops to take. Okay. So this is to bounce creatures or planeswalkers or counter artifacts or enchantments. And I think I care more about these creatures. So trample haste, whenever it deals combat damage, exile that many cards from their graveyard, put that many counters on it. Alright, and whenever this becomes the target of a spell or an ability, they draw a card. So I think we just get rid of the mammoth. This will come down on 5 and we can soul shatter it. Okay, opponent draws Sentinel. And land. Okay. I'm gonna play Kalane. Make sure we have land 4. Or land 4. Make sure we have treasure to cast our spells. And the opponent finds land 4. So what's it gonna be? Quandrix Command. They can bounce my Kalane. Beef up their Sentinel. I mean, it's not great. And then this thing will come down next turn if they top deck a land. It has 4/4 trample haste. That's deal combat damage to exile a thing. So I can still technically just play the cube on the Sentinel. And then even if they play this, it won't be able to get through. Okay. Sweet. So do I just play the Prince? I mean, there's land 4. I can activate Den. Thing is, if the opponent has land 5, they have the Froghemoth. Then I can just Gelatinous Cube it. This is a weird spot. If I go for X equals 1, we get to reanimate the Ghast. But then this thing probably just gets bounced. Weird. Like, weird calls. Maybe we just play the cube. And then the opponent can bounce it. And then we can play it again. And have a weird kind of like mana war. I'm not going to spend the mana from the treasure. I want to be able to conserve it for a turn where I might need more mana because I expect this to get bounced. And if it gets bounced, then the opponent really doesn't get much value off the Quandrix command. It's basically just a 3 mana unsummon. Which isn't great. And they still need to draw the land to play the frog. Oh, right, that's true. They do get the counters if they do it in that order. Okay. And they hit the land. I'm actually not surprised. So, deals combat damage, gets a ton of counters. I think we just take 7 here. I can chump this. Nah. Yeah, let's just take the damage. Exile a ton of cards, but then we have Soul Shatter. I can Thoughtseize this away and then play the cube, which is pretty jokes. I could actually just use land, make them discard it, play the cube, take this. Cube's a 5/4. Kind of like that. Right, this just says target opponent discards a card and they only have 1 card in hand. So we just make them discard. Yep. And we can play the cube out with the treasure token and make it a 5/4. And get in for a point of damage with Kalane. Okay, so we have a ton of gas right now when the opponent's top decking. Any other turn they try to get rid of this, we can engulf it. And they actually drew an answer. Oh my god, they top decked the answer. And put me to 5. Okay, we gotta be careful. Or we can actually die. Top deck fight spell. Alright. So do I just Gelatinous Cube again and take the Froghemoth again, but not attack with Kalane? Thing has haste. I think we have to go for that play pattern. Otherwise it's what? Paladin and Soul Shatter? But that's just so weak. Your go. Yeah, well, I'm not the one top decking, you are, so I actually have decisions to make. It's either Paladin and Soul Shatter or Cube. If I play Paladin, then I probably am just chump blocking the Sentinel. This is really bad if they draw another removal spell. You know what? I'm going to play around top decked removal spell. We're just going to play the Paladin and pass. Hasty big boy. When this thing deals combat damage. Okay. Soul Shatter. I wonder if the opponent has counter magic. That's not just the Quandrix command. I'm gonna sack Kalane. We're getting really low on life and I have another one. It's also legendary, so I don't feel too bad about it. Do I engulf here? Maybe they have another Quandrix command. So it's either like Kalane into Paladin. I think we just play the cube. Take the Sentinel. Okay, now I'm going to attack because there's nothing that's really holding priority. And if they top deck another fight spell, we're chillin'. Cultivator, that's fine. Okay, so X for 2 means we reanimate. Oh, X just the Kalane. Not great, but I think we can get a 1-drop in the yard. The other ones have been exiled. Okay, gassed. Do I just play Painter into like these cards? I'm going to offer a trade with the cube and attack with my menace creature. I have to be careful not to die though. This thing can just kill me, which would be really unfortunate and honestly pretty funny. But I think this is fine. If the opponent blocks the cube, I just minus it for 2. Alright, so Kalane into what, the Ghast? Ghast comes down as a 2/2. I think we just want to, well, 2/2 menace is pretty nice. So we pay with treasure. 2/2 menace, and I can dispose of this properly. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 deals 3 damage to something. Can take out 2. Maybe we just play everything out. Just go really wide to make it harder for the opponent to kill me. I am at 3 after all. So how am I blocking? Maybe I just block with the Ghast, make a treasure. And if I draw another land, I can reanimate 2 things. Or just, even if I don't, I can reanimate the Ghast. Seems okay. Just make a treasure token. This is all fine. Old growth troll. Okay. Anything else? My turn. So this thing comes down, and then each other creature gets -X. I lose that much life. So I don't think we're really doing that. That does not sound like a good plan. So I can get in with my menace creatures, play this for X = 1, bring you back. This will be a 6/4. Seems fine, right? And I get in for 3. Let's just make sure that actually happens first. Pay with treasure. Oh yeah. Return up to X target creatures. Chad Ghast is back. No attacks. Menace creatures will poke in. And we're gonna pass. Big flyer. Do I just trade with the cube? I think now we can. They get back a 1-2. We take 1 damage. I know, not ideal. Oh, I should have just blocked with the Kalan to save 1 life. Kalane. I'm gonna keep making that mistake. And now they will make their 4-4 again. I know, yep. Tapped 4-4 with Trample. And Lotus Cobra. Land. Okay, and the opponent's top decking again. So, how close are they to being dead? I can attack with the Prince. And then give it a stat boost. Let's say they attack all back. I can like block everything pretty normally. I just have to make sure I put something in front of this. Alright, I'm just going to attack for 6 in the air. See if the opponent wants to throw Sentinel in front of it. Or not. Nope. Alright. And I'm going to hold everything open. We can pump these at instant speed. I can also flash this in for another flyer. And the opponent's dead. Okay. Close game. Weird match. I felt like I should have been more aggressive. But I was on such a low life total. It was really awkward. Okay, I mean, technically a 2-lander. Let's go. Paladin into Kalane. Into, if we could draw land, the Draco Lich. And if not, maybe we just generate another treasure and then do it a turn later. We'll see. Definitely a keepable hand. I think that's the fun part about the treasure archetype, is that even if we miss some lands, we can still generate mana. And even if we only draw, like, let's say black mana, we can still fix our colors. So, Kalane. This is looking like a turn 3 on the play, 4 mana 6/3, which is pretty nice, and you can't exactly say that every day. Attack. Menace, and I mean, if they want to trade that, they can. Cool. So, Celestia something. Emergent Sequence. Sure. Opponent on that ramp. Attack. Sure. And we pay with treasure. Big boy Draco Lich. Land 4, and now what? Do I just make a treasure with the Paladin to guarantee a gold span dragon on the way back? I mean, that's pretty metal, right? How bad can that really be? We miss out on, like, let's say 3 damage, but we guarantee this dragon, and then they're dead in the air if they can't deal with this board. Also, if they take something out that isn't the Ebon Death and the Ebon Death, we get to reanimate it. Okay. And the opponent scoops it up. So yeah, they're just absolutely farmed in the air. We have a crazy explosive start, and we just kill them. Sweet. Okay. I mean, weird hand, but we have a bunch of Thought Seizes and the mana generation to do it with the Paladins. No red mana, but I mean, I'm just going to try to rely on my treasure generation. And maybe we can just draw some, I don't know, mountains or pathways and help us get there. Sketchy hand, though. 4 1-mana spells and a 5-drop. But yeah, this is turn 2 Thoughtseize. At that point, it's not even Thoughtseize. It's like an Agonizing Remorse, but it's fine. It's a decent play pattern. Okay, is this rogues? Actual rogues. So I make the treasure, and then we just play the Devour Intellect. Okay. Weird hand. What do I care about? I don't really care about a lot of this stuff. Rogue class is honestly whatever. This is annoying, but it has an equip cost. Eye Twitch is a flying blocker that replaces itself, so maybe we just go for the Eye Twitch. This is 2 to equip. So yeah, I'm gonna go for the Eye Twitch. Could honestly be the Talisman, but this is a 2-for-1 and a blocker. Ruined Crab into Swamp into Talisman. Okay, mill me a little bit. And mill me some more. Okay. Tap land. So, how do we do it? How do we do it? I can Thoughtseize one of these things away. Do I care about the Rogue class or do I care about the Behold? I mean, Rogue class is really slow. Then again, Behold is pretty slow as well. I could make the treasure. I'm not sure how I want to do it. I could also just hold and try to ramp to Goldspan Dragon. That honestly might be the best play. Alright. I'm going to play it slow. I'm going to hold back. I'm going to make a treasure and I'm going to play Goldspan Dragon. Hopefully we don't see another blue source, because then they'd be able to threaten, you know, counter magic. Okay, so they equip the Talisman. Just gain and drain me a little bit. And it gains Death Touch. Only when it attacks, though. Alright, I mean, good mills, right? Okay, let's make some treasure. And we can go for the dragon. Big dragon. Okay, sweet. And now we can pay with treasure mana on the Thoughtseize and still have another mana to cast another one of these paladins. I think we just take the Eye Twitch. Again, flying blocker's good. And then we can play the paladin. Alright, let's go. This only gains Death Touch when it attacks, right? Yeah. So they can do the block thing with the Wind Robber, but it doesn't actually help them. And they just foretell Behold the Multiverse. Gain and drain, okay. Build me some more. I have to be careful, this thing will hit me for 3 a turn. Alright, we have a ton of stuff. I think we just keep going even wider. Animate our land. The Wind Robber sack is holding priority. And now we're just trying to kill them as fast as possible. It really just is a race at this point. They've gained some life with the Wind Robber, and we're going to be dead in 4 turns to it. But it's really not all that bad. Okay, make the 1/1 tapped attacking goblin. 3/1/1 off our land. Feels good. Let's go. And I can waste 1 mana to recast my paladin. I think that's worth it. Yeah, they have a free block with the Ruined Crab. But for future turns, they might not, and the opponent falls to 10. I think this is fine. Triple Forsworn Paladin. I mean, if we're generating a lot of mana with Goldspan Dragon, it's a one hell of a mana sink. So is it even worth animating the Den of the Bugbear next turn? I guess we'll see what happens. Okay, I mean, those mills are fine. These are pretty low impact cards right now. I mean, Magda's better than the Ghast. But we're looking for some powerful top end, like the Orcus, or I mean, Valky would be nice, but we only run 1. So the opponent can either play Rogue class, play Behold the Multiverse, play another blocker in Ruined Crab, which isn't great against a ton of menace creatures. Oh yeah, attack with the Ruined Crab, you got it. Okay, they're gonna drain and gain me again. Mill a little bit. Mountain, that's fine. I mean, I can't really control the mills. I'm not gonna stress about them too much. But I would love to see a Draco Lich in there. Love Draco Lich. Okay, there's a painter. So do we animate the land or do we just attack everything? Let's say they block the goblin. I can get in for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Opponent goes to 1. And if I animate the den, the opponent stays at a much higher life total. Okay. Let's get in there. I think I should have played this pre-combat because it makes the treasure and pays for itself. Let's go to blockers. No blocks, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sure, I'll pay with treasure. I guess I'll put it on the Paladin again. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, the opponent's just dead. They had to block with the rune crap to stay alive. And we get there. I should have played the Kalane before combat just because the treasure literally replaces itself with the treasure Kalane makes because the Goldspan Dragon, but it's okay, we still get there in the end.